JW, just pop it in real quick.
This is a good.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Good get for this morning.
Last time we talked to you, you were cruising across America with your dad in your RV, getting a little time off.
We already did that. Made it.
How'd it go?
5,500 miles.
Yeah.
Lots of money.
Was it just you and Dad?
Mm-hmm.
How many arguments did you get into?
None.
Really? God,
He was drinking beer by 11.
just keep him happy with beer in the back, and he's going to be good to go.
And then he figured out that the right front seat also reclines, and it's heated. He was in heaven. He had that little thing you put on your neck, like when you're in an airport, and he
had a chauffeur with like a house attached to it, taking him across the country.
And he knew that if I let him drive for just a little bit, that I would say, "Okay, Dad, you're done." So he drove for like 2 hours one day, and he looked at me.
That's it.
He looked at me, I looked at him, and he's like, I said, yeah, let's go ahead and pull over. I'll take it over. I'm not a good passenger, but...
because you spent so much time on the road.
That was in the morning before he wasn't drinking and driving.
Yeah.
But
we figured.
Since I am working, no, he was not.
Since you spent so much time behind the wheel on the road, are you the worst backseat driver?
Yes.
To be like...
I will just say that I'm not a good passenger at all.
I don't think I am either, though. I hate it when my wife drives, and
I'm
I
not
think
a control freak of anybody else, but if I don't have control of myself,
right? If you don't have the control, like I think she's always following too close, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, can we just slow down a little bit?" And oh my God, you talk about instant World War III.
So I never used to be. I mean, I shouldn't say I never used to be, but I used to drive a lot. Then I moved to slow, and I worked in slow, and I was here for 10 years. And in those 10 years, I became a much better passenger because my rides were 5 minutes. I'd drive 5 minutes, and that was it. Then I picked up the side hustle and started driving quite a bit. And then also layer in commute from 30 miles away to work every day down a pass. And my wife and I went out, and granted, she's added a lot to her driving plate as well. We drove out to California Valley to look at the wildflowers the other day. And I don't know. We might have to take separate cars everywhere we go now. I mean, she's like, I drove the leg out there, and I said to her, "Do you want to drive?" I'm going back. And she's like, "Yes, I want to drive." And then I'm on her ass the entire time coming back. It was,
yeah, it's difficult.
Maybe that's the key to a happy marriage: is everybody takes separate cars,
or bicycle.
Hey, we're going to look at wildflowers.
Everybody
I'll see you there.
Ride a bicycle.
I remember once we did a trip. It was a 7-hour trip. I went to Reno, and I said, "Hey, I'm taking my own car. I'll follow you guys." He's like, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, "I don't want to be in the car with you and your wife for 7 hours. I like you guys, but 7 hours in the same, and I need to do something. I don't like sitting, and I don't like.
Yeah,
I can't be a passenger.
I'm not a good passenger. So, like on that trip, my dad knew he was like riding the Bots Dots, looking at me. Finally, after a couple hours, I was like,
I tell you, there was nothing like it until I had a 40-footer, and it was about the same size as yours, right? And I was going to Pomona, and I was pulling the trailer, and I'm down on the 10 freeway, and I'm in the middle lane. I got a semi on my left and a semi on my right. And my buddy, Eric, he's got the window open, and he's drawing smiley faces on the semi as we're going 55 down the freeway. And I'm white-knuckling going, okay, do I speed up or do I slow down? Because I can't do this much longer.
You just got to look to the front, huh?
You got to it's tunnel, man. And
you can't look left or right because you'll end up going one way or the other. You just hammer down and go.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I'm surprised your dad was able to make it for 2 hours on the rumble strips. I'm surprised that you allowed him to, and that he.
Well, I was
didn't
actually
just
enjoying because you got to realize we left from here. We drove all the way to Alabama. We stopped, Arizona, New Mexico, but it's like, I was getting tired of driving. I wanted to relax and look around, and so it was like the third morning, and he's like hitting those, and I know he's doing it on purpose. I've been around him my whole life, See, my wife doesn't hit him on purpose, and she drives a much smaller car than an RV. I have a nickname for her. Her nickname is...
She drives a Fiat. It's like a toy car.
Rumble Strip Rebecca is what her name is. I have a question for you. Have you ever hit an animal on the road?
Yes, I have. I ran over a skunk just the other day in my patrol car.
Ooh. Oh, that's bad.
It was bad.
I think I'd take a turkey over a skunk.
Yeah.
I like skunk. I like the way skunk smells.
But when you hit a turkey...
It smells like country to me.
The feathers fly. It's just, it's very graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you hit the said skunk, did you cry afterwards?
Only my eyes were watering because of the smell.
Oh, okay. So I guess technically you did shed tears.
Yeah.
I didn't cry. I just watered up a little bit. All right.
Did somebody in here hit a turkey?
I hit a turkey. I was out fishing last Friday evening, and I pulled off the lake at dusk and pulled out, and I had a great day fishing, caught some good fish, and the lady she said,
is that the day that you posted some of those pictures?
No, that was 2 weeks ago. I didn't post any pictures, but anyways, I pulled out and I was like,
he says he can't post any pictures unless the fish is bigger than the one he posted a picture of.
I'll show you.
I think he bought that fish that he posted.
Oh, I
didn't want to say
Where
that.
Where do you buy that at?
It looked like it was already mounted.
Well, it's like golfing.
It was looked like it came off a piece of wood.
It's like, and I brought this up exactly. I brought this up when you allegedly caught the fish.
Look at that big smallie I got.
It looks good. No, I like that.
And
that was on Friday.
And I'm like, when I go golfing by myself, I hit holes in one all the time.
Mm-hmm. I don't even keep score unless I do good.
10 or 12 hole in ones in my in my bag.
Damn it! I will drive
by myself.
I will drive over to Taco Warehouse, and the guy that took the photo, because remember my phone was dead, and I caught this monster 5.5 pound largemouth, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm like, well, maybe somebody's at the launch, and I'll just run back there, and hopefully somebody will be there, and there was, and they took the photos, and they told me they worked at Taco Warehouse. And the original was pretty dark because it was dark. So I just enhanced the color.
It's called photoshopping.
Yes.
It's called enhancing.
It looks like that dish was mounted.
The color. On Instagram.
Looks like it was mounted. Something you got at the Bass Pro Shop.
I took out the wood plank that it was sitting on.
My kid had one of those. You push the button, it would talk to you.
Big Mouth Billy. Big Mouth Billy. So what happens if you hit an animal?
So it depends on what. The only time you're ever required for a report, is if you hit, because dogs are considered property. So if you run over somebody's dog, you need to stop and make contact with somebody. Call us, call the local PD, wherever you're at, because dogs are property.
God, if I hit somebody's dog, I would have picked the dog up, put him in the back of my truck, and tried to get him to a vet.
Cried all the way to the vet.
But like wild animals, cats, squirrels, skunks, they're not property. So deer, people hit deer all the time, right? Or pigs, bear, mountain lions around here.
You can continue on. I mean, if you it doesn't do
what I say. If you hit a large animal, well, then you definitely want to look and see if there's damage to your vehicle to get you.
I wouldn't go back and try to help the bear.
But if it's a bear or a mountain lion or a big boar, you may not want to get out and go, pet it and see if it's okay.
Good call.
But
sometimes you hit it like a deer glancing blow, the legs as it's running across your
across the front of your
travel path. Yeah.
Don't try to avoid it unless you can do it safely. So don't freak out, jam on the brakes, and veer hard right or left and get in a crash. Hit it. If you have to hit it or crash some other way, hit the animal.
See, I did the right thing.
Even if it makes you cry.
Yeah. Even if it's a wild turkey that nobody loves. So no,
apparently somebody does.
All right, we got some people on the line. Ask JW anything. 805-543-3693. Jennifer, you're up first. What do you got for J-Dubs?
It's kind of a silly question, but I've never actually gotten a straight answer. When you see the 25 miles per hour, when you see kids in session or school is in session, those signs, does that mean when you actually see kids, you have to slow down to 25, or just when they're in school hours, so to speak? Does that make sense?
I like this question.
It's a great question, because what if it's a Saturday? And
Saturdays.
Right.
Weekends don't count, or if it's a holiday and school's not in session, it doesn't count. If kids are on the playground playing, it doesn't count. Only before school and then slightly after, and then or slightly after it starts, and then whenever school is getting ready to get out. It's when kids are outside of the parameters of the school, on the sidewalk, at the crosswalks. A good point of reference, if you see those crossing guards, you know that the kids are probably outside the boundaries. That's whenever it's in effect.
So
that's when it's in effect.
It's likely whenever school's in session.
Yes, but not like in the middle of the day session, unless it's an elementary school and they have kindergarten and parents walk their kindergartners back and forth. So I wish they would make it, set times, 7:30 to 3 or something, but they don't.
Right.
It can be confusing, but if you always err on the side of caution. So during the middle of the week, if it's, school starts at 8 and from 7:45 to 8:30, I would slow down.
The one that gets me all the time is that one on San Luis Bay Drive, heading out to Avila, and there's that charter school there. And that's a road that you drive pretty fast on. Is it 50? Is it a 50? So, but then there's a sign that says 25 there because there's a school, and you're like,
There's another good one out on Oak Park Boulevard where Noyes Road turns into Oak Park. You can't even see the school. It's up on the hill. There's a curvy driveway that goes up.
Yes.
And it's like, I didn't even know there was a school there. It's a Christian academy or something like that.
Yeah.
And also, if you see school buses around.
Right.
You know.
But the rule of thumb is if you see kids out, slow down to 25.
Yes.
All right. Chris is on the line. Chris, what's your question for JW?
Hey, good morning, guys. My question is, I'd heard from a couple different people that CHP has a campaign to save 22 lives. So on the 22nd of every month, they write quite a few more speeding tickets. Is that true?
No.
Is this like Snopes? Is this a question for Snopes?
No, it's not true.
I love these questions about the quotas because everybody's always, every time we do this, wants to ask you about quotas.
Yeah, there aren't quotas. There are certain times of the year that we may have extra enforcement out with grants and things of that nature during the holidays or July 4th, Memorial Day, things of that nature. We're going to have extra money or extra grant money to put extra patrol out there, but just every 22nd of every month or the first Tuesday or whatever. No, it's
As far as there being a certain day.
Yeah, no.
All right, buddy. Good. All right.
take
See you
care,
later,
buddy.
Chris. 805-543-3693. Those are the 805 beer lines. Brian writes in. He says, has a question about mounting lights to the front bumper of his Jeep. He wants to wire them into his high beams. So when he turns his high beams on, he's got extra lights going.
I don't know the wiring laws. Okay. I do know they have to be covered. They have to have a cover over them. So, you'll see them on top of cars now. And the grill, you can't drive down the freeway with them on. So you can't turn your bright lights on and have those lights on as well.
You better have
They
some
to be
kind
like
of
an auxiliary.
override.
Yes.
You have
like an auxiliary button. That's for off-roading.
Yeah.
That's for if you're stuck somewhere and need a spotlight. That's not for driving down
poaching.
the road. Hopefully not poaching.
Yeah, you want to stun a deer.
Yeah.
Shoot him at nighttime.
That's illegal, dude.
Oh, that's right. Oops.
You can't. That's called spotlighting.
I didn't say anything.
Justine wrote in from Lompoc, and she said a question about getting pulled over. If you're not comfortable stopping right away when the lights come on, what is the best thing to do? Should I just? She says she thinks she should turn on her hazards, slow down, and then find a comfortable area that's well lit where she can pull over. But you should try to pull over right away, shouldn't you?
Well, no, that's fine as long as she's, if she slows down, puts her hazards on. At least she's indicating to the officer, "I know you're back there. I'm not trying to flee or run. I'm just,
But you're not thinking she's hiding the drugs? I mean, we all watch Live PD. That's what they say, as they're doing the ride along. They're like, oh yeah, they're moving around in there.
These guys are trained. They're observant. They'll look to see. I mean, you can tell, if somebody is hiding drugs or they're looking for a safe space. I bet you it makes you guys very angry when people pull over in unsafe areas.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there's, we try to, if we can, initiate a stop where we know the shoulder's wide or we can get you off the freeway, especially at night, working graveyards. You want to try to get people to the white spots or off the freeway because it's much safer. That way you don't get hit. They're in a safer spot. We are. If you are afraid or worried that that's not an officer, you can always call 911 and find out if that's a real officer behind you, if that's your concern. And if it's not one of us, they'll get you to the local police department or the sheriff to say, yes, that is officer or deputy so-and-so. If you pull to a wide spot, if you're worried, take an off-ramp, go to a restaurant or a gas station where it's well lit, go there, if you're worried about it.
I was driving over the grade the other day, where it gets windy in there. And I don't know if this was a disabled vehicle or a pullover, but there, right where it was windy, there was you come around the corner, you're like, oh, because I know that when we see you guys on the side of the road, we're supposed to get over a lane for safety, but right there it's hard because everybody's bottlenecking anyways as it is.
What kind of car was it? Sorry, I walked away.
It was a CHP.
No, this car. No, I got that part, but the other car. Like the other day, we had to store a motorhome.
It was like a Hyundai or a Honda or something along those lines.
We had to store a motorhome right there the other day. That was in a bad spot. So.
Gosh.
So yeah, we would try to stop somebody in those spots because for one, you got the hill, right? There's no place to stand.
Yeah.
I don't want to have my rear end out in the traffic lane. So we try to, pick the best spots.
Talking to Officer J.W. Townsen from the California Highway Patrol. Ask J.W. anything. We got David on the line. Go ahead, man. Officer J.W. Townsen. All right, David. I'll come back to you, David. Hold on. Keep your radio down. Hi, go ahead. What's your name? Richard?
Good morning, JW. This is Richard.
Go
I
ahead.
was wondering when you're sitting with your radar unit on, how far does it reach?
Oh, it can reach further than you can see sometimes.
700 miles, Richard.
And we don't usually, let's say we're sitting there on the side of the road running radar. We usually will not sit there with it just on because it'll drive you nuts. For one, the tone is loud. You see a vehicle, you estimate its speed, then you activate it. So
Okay.
it'll go a long way. Sometimes you'd be surprised. It'll go around corners. We have to see the vehicle.
Uh-huh.
I can't just, there's 90 and all of a sudden the car comes around, it's at 55. No, you have to, that's why you estimate it first before you turn it on.
Now, when I've seen this before.
Jeremy knows.
I don't know if you do this or if this is your cohorts, your associates. But there'll be a
It
guy,
was 95, actually.
and he'll be sticking.
In a Volkswagen.
It was a Honda, actually.
He'll be sticking the gun like right out the window, and I'm saying the gun,
His radar?
the radar gun, the radar gun right out the window. Is he running radar the entire time?
That's a LiDAR. That's a LiDAR, so it's a laser. So it has to be pointed at a like a bumper or object that will reflect that beam back to you.
Okay.
That's why it's handheld that way. I don't use them.
It's funny because it's like almost something you'd see in a movie.
Yeah.
Like
and they
you're
work very well.
Sitting behind a billboard, and you're sitting there with the gun. I mean,
Hey, I got a question. What about the airplane? Are they still using that?
They do, not as much anymore because back whenever radar wasn't legal or wasn't, a law that we could write citations with radar on the freeways, we used them a lot. You'll still see the freeways are marked.
Yeah. The little
In rural areas, yes, they still do because
I see it running up in North County all the
Yeah,
time.
King City, they'll do it up there.
All right, let's try David again. Go ahead, man. What's your question, David?
Hello. I was told a long time ago, I had a friend that worked in the auto parts store, and he told me that police cars have police engines that are bigger and stronger, faster. And I was wondering if CHP cars and police cars in general have bigger, faster engines than the stock models.
All right.
So if I buy an Explorer from Paso Robles Ford, I'm not getting the same Explorer that the CHP gets, right?
Well, you can buy that twin turbo V6 Explorer from Paso Ford. Mine's just a V6.
Oh, really?
What they will do is they will beef up the suspension, the transmission, the cooling, that type of stuff now. And I mean, like those old Crown Vics, they were just beefed up a little bit. I wouldn't say the motor had any more horsepower. They just try to make them a little tougher for the beating that they
Right,
take.
because you could be driving it on a dirt road, on a county road or something at a high speed rate of speed.
So the cooling and that type, if it was a motor, you want to, back in the 60s, maybe so, they had like the real police cars that had the big, 440s in them, but you can buy a 440 if you had the money as well. Right. Nowadays, our cars, and most, like I drive a little Dodge Charger, it's a V6. That's what the department bought because the top end speed was like 4 miles an hour difference.
Yeah.
And you're not really
it's cheaper. It's $5,000 cheaper.
Yeah, it made more fiscal sense.
It's lighter and cheaper.
Better on gas too.
Yeah.
And you're not running from the cars anymore as much as you're running from the radio, right?
Yeah, radio stays in effect, and we try to end pursuits. If we're talking about chasing people, we try to end them as quick as we can. That's the safest thing we can do. Pit somebody, spike strips, things of that nature. We try to end them.
You ever pit somebody?
Yeah, we have. We just
No, you.
No.
Oh.
I mean, why do you think? I mean,
I've always wanted to pit somebody.
Is something that is extremely rare, right?
No, they happen quite often, actually.
Well, around here,
Yeah, he's in them all the time.
More than what you think. They just happen, usually at night. They may happen sometimes during the day or sometimes in the evening. They usually will happen.
You gonna bring me? Can I go back out?
Yeah, anytime you
I'm
want.
out for I don't know. I've been out
Well, we can't. If you're riding with me, you can't be in a pursuit. I have to drop you off. I drop you off in the shady part of town.
that'd be so funny. I gotta get out of the car right now.
I tell you what, that just happened this last weekend. We had an officer who had a ride along. He was chasing a guy ended up being like a parolee at large on a motorcycle. He had to drop his ride along off, and this is no joke, at the liquor store in Morro Bay.
Well, just tell him I'm not.
So he
there.
dropped him off. They continued the pursuit. Once it was done, they went back and picked him up. And that's just liability issues. Unless,
absolutely.
Even though you sign off on, I could always just put you in handcuffs, stick you in the back seat,
Yeah,
and say,
that's
hey,
fine.
He's in custody.
Yeah, I'm in
You're
custody.
used to that.
I'm ready to go. All right, J-Dubs.
Hey, just one thing real fast before I leave. Very important. This month is Tip-A-Cop month, and we've done it before. Y'all came down there several times. May 21st at Madonna, 22nd in Cambria, 23rd in Paso Robles, 24th in South County. And they just had some games in Abu Dhabi where the sheriff went last month.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
So we, here in this county, we raise a lot of money. And all that money, every bit of it, all the proceeds go to Special Olympics in this county. So we send athletes, to those games or to LA, to the different games that they have. So please come out and support.
You can buy
Special
tickets
Olympics
right now for Tip of Cop dinners next month, right?
Yes. Yes. For next
How do you
month.
buy them?
You can call the Highway Patrol at 594-8700. Or if you have, if you want to support your local police department where you live or the county, call them. They'll put you in touch with where to get them. But if you want to buy from your favorite, the Highway Patrol, then you got, 594-8700.
Or just Google Slow Highway Patrol, right?
Yeah. 594-8700.
Don't call 911.
No.
Don't do that.
Go by the office, call us.
What was that number again?
594-8700. Call it.
8700.
Come by and see us. Get you a table.
All right.
It's a great time. We have fun.
Yeah, I've been going the last several years. I'm going to go again this year.
What's awesome about it?
We had a table from the radio station.
A police officer has to wait on you.
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, go get me a beer, dude.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing service because not only did I have you, JW was late, he was working out or something.
Come on,
you showed up, your face
on the radio
was all
and
red.
you're saying this stuff. Come on,
you were fine. To be fair to you, you weren't even supposed to work that dinner. You literally came there to wait on our table. But we had two other guys waiting on us as well. It's the best service I've ever had.
We have fun. It is fun. We get kids involved. It is a blast, and y'all know because you've come and we do bring you beer. We make sure you have a ride home. I mean, it was probably better than the wet lab we did here that one time.
Yeah, we're not doing that ever again. That was painful. Learned my lesson.
So give us a call. Come down and the best thing is, once you meet these athletes, we have them. They help us at our office every day, and I've known some of them for 20 years, and they become your friends. And you take, I've gone to baseball games with Mike. He helps us at our office. We go play golf. He's a you have fun, and these guys, they get to go out and do what they love to do, and that's how we can help them have the ability to do it.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.